All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahawashi, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elected nation of Israel. This is going to be me talking about how a Hebrew Israelite man is the most hated thing on this earth, man. And in particular, Yahawashi was the most hated person that ever walked the face of the earth, man, because he lived a life that was completely perfect in every single way. Yet he received a death worse than anybody else has ever received ever in their whole life, man, right? When he came to actually do a good deed and he knew he was going to die. But yet his death was for the things that other people had did from his nation. And deeper things can be said about that. But for the purpose of this particular lesson, I'm not even going to go into those things, man. Right? But Yahawashi was the most hated person to ever walk the earth, man. Right? People said he was a wine bibber. In fact, let me try and find that Bible verse. People said he's gluttonous and a wine bibber. I always quote that verse, but I never remember where it is, man. But hopefully after today, I'll be able to remember where it is. Is it in the book of John? I know that when you use this, you have to spell the words perfectly. Here we go. What do you have about Yahawashi? This is Luke chapter 7 and verse 33. For John the Baptist came neither eating nor drinking, and ye say he hath a devil. The Son of Man come eating and drinking, and ye say, behold a gluttonous man, a winebibber, a friend of publicans and sinners. But wisdom is justified of all her children. So ultimately, when all of these people try and come up against Hebrew Israelite men, the wisdom that they hold within them is going to be he's going to justify every single person that belongs to wisdom, right? Every single person that wisdom dwells in is going to be justified by that wisdom when it's all said and done. Because a lot of people in this world are going to take that charagma, man. A lot of people in this world are going to take that charagma. A lot of people in this world took another thing, and now it's coming out that that thing was a stupid decision to make. Yet there was a lot of people being complete dragons, right? Being complete dragons and beasts, trying to force and push their feelings towards that on everybody else, right? There was a lot of people getting on the news, telling people that they should do this or that they should do that, right? Pushing their particular thought process on people. And then at the end of it all, man, it comes out that what they was trying to tell people to do was folly. So who was the ones that were really wise in that situation, man? Was it not us? Was it not the people that didn't do it? Was it not them? Let me go to this. In fact, let me find Salakia. There's some scriptures that I'm thinking of in my head, but I don't know exactly where they are. If he was of the world would love his own. Here we go. Thwadi Yahawashi Yahawashi. John 15 and verse 18. If the world hate you, know that it hated me before it hated you. So, like I said before, Yahawashi was the most hated person to ever walk the face of the earth, man. There's no one that's 2 feet have hit the ground before that's been hated more than Yahawashi. When Yahawashi was first born and his birth was pronounced to the people of Israel, you had King Herod trying to kill him, right? And King Herod was so eager to make sure he killed Yahawashi because he knew that Yahawashi was supposed to be the ruler, and he understood that he was an Edomite, and he understood that Yahawashi was prophesied to both bring the kingdom back to the Israelites, which was going to get rid of his rulership. That's what he believed was going to happen at that time. But he also understood that Yahawashi was coming back to get rid of his whole nation, according to Obadiah chapter 1 and verse 18, which is a prophecy that he would have been aware of, right? So he was so eager to try and kill Yahawashi that not only did he try and attempt to kill Yahawashi, but when he realized how old Yahawashi would have been, he just said, well, since we don't know exactly which baby it is, he was pretty much like, since we don't know exactly which baby he will be, let's just kill any baby that's around that age group, that's a male. Let's just kill all of them. Try and kill as many of them as we can, and surely one of them's got to be him. That's what type of evil he had in him, man, because he hated Yahawashi. And then you had all these other people that they was trying to say, think that they're righteous and that, and they was trying to be like, well, I don't find any sin in this man, so his blood, I'll wash my hands of him and all that. But you still went through with him getting killed though, so don't think that you're righteous, because you still knew that it was a wrong, and you still allowed him to be crucified, man. You were still your nation of people that caused him to be crucified. So don't think that you're going to escape judgment for that, man. John chapter 15 and verse 18, if the world hate you, know it hated me before it hated you. If ye were of the world would love his own. But because ye are not of the world, but I have chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hateth you. So Yahawashi is the most hated, right? But then Israelite men in general as well, that believe that they're Israelites, they're going to be the next hated, man. They're going to be the next hated. And the ones that have got more of the spirit in them from Yahawashi, that are got even more faith, they're going to be even more hated. And then the brothers that have got a bit less faith than the ones with the most, they're going to be even hated still, just a little bit less. And then the brother that's got faith as a grain of mustard seed, he's going to be hated too, because he's going to show himself different to the rest of the world, man. He's going to show himself a different way to the rest of the world, and it's going to be irksome for people in the world to see it, because they're going to be like, well, you're making me feel uncomfortable with how much of a scumbag I am, right? This is Wisdom of Solomon chapter 2 and verse 10. Wisdom of Solomon chapter 2 and verse 10. Let us oppress the poor righteous man. Let us not spare the widow, nor reverence the ancient grey hairs of the age. Now let me just jump up to get to what the point of this particular part of the scripture is talking about, man. So this is how pretty much giving a behind the scenes, or a look into the mind of how the wicked people of this world think, man. How the elite people that have the access to all manner of goods of this earth, all manner of luxury, how they think. This is Wisdom of Solomon chapter 2 and verse 1. For the ungodly said reason with themselves, right? So this is how they thought for themselves, but not aright, meaning they thought all of this stuff, but they was wrong in their thoughts, right? Our life is short and tedious, and in the death of a man there is no remedy, neither was there any man known to have returned from the grave. So even though they've heard the story about Yahawashi, these Edomites don't really believe it, man. But whenever they go and try and search the world and see if there's proof of the Bible being real, the stories that are in there, they always find that it is. And when they're looking through their big telescopes that they've got the size of buildings, they see things out of there, man. The things that we see in the sky, that we're praising Yahweh Shem Yahawashi, saying Barakatah Yahweh Shem Yahawashi, Kalhala Yahweh Shem Yahawashi, Thawada Yahweh Shem Yahawashi, and we're praising the Lord's name, right? The things that we see from far, they've got telescopes that they can see those same things in the sky from a way more zoomed in point of view, man, like 1,000 times closer from their telescopes than what we've seen, man. And when they see them, they see things completely different to what we've seen, man. We believe them anyway, even if we'd never seen nothing in the sky. But they believe these things because they've seen them close up, man, way closer than what we've ever saw them. Yahweh don't want us to see them close, because he wants us to have faith. But these Edomites have seen things in the sky, man. They've tried to search up higher into the heavens than what we can even. So they know that certain things exist, and that's why they're always trying to do certain things in a certain way, and why they don't just try and roll upon the Israelites, because they've probably tried stuff like that before to certain degrees, and then certain people have died, man. Like some of the time when you see some of these elites that have just passed away, that you thought, man, he wouldn't, I'm surprised he passed away. He might have tried to go against the spiritual mechanisms that they're allowed to try and do to the Israelites, man. So Yahweh was like, okay, you're trying to go against the rules, I'm going to show you what's good. So I'm going to take you out, man, so the rest of them can know you can't try and go against the methods that I've gave you to try and torment my people. If you go past that method and you try and come at them straight up when I'm stepping in. And that's why we have that scripture, Isaiah chapter 59 and verse 19. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the spirit of Yahawashi shall lift up the standard against them. Because Esau is not really he's a secretive guy, but once he gets cornered, you see the real demon come out, man. You get an Edomite angry, they'll try and pretend like it's not bothering them initially, right? Then they're just going to call you an N-word this and N-word that. They're going to try and say something racist and outlandish so that they can try and stir you up. But if that don't work, when they say that to you, then they're going to try and put their hands on you. That's how they do, man. They try and pretend like what you're saying ain't bothering them at first. Oh, yeah. They try and scoff, fan their hand at you, right? Then when they see that other people are listening, they try and get those people to stop listening to you, right? Then they try and mock and try and like point things at not your doctrine, or they're trying to attack the doctrine and think that they're smarter than you. But when that don't work, then they'll try and mock your character. Oh, look at how he dresses. Do you have a job? As if anyone's job is going to change what's written in the Bible. A person's job ain't going to change anything that's written in the Bible. And all these people that come up asking about what people's jobs are, they're asking the wrong questions. They need to be asking about what Obadiah is talking about, man. But they'll try all of these things. Then they'll try and defame your name, right? They'll try and send people to try and get you angry and carnal. And then they'll try and get carnal themselves, man. Because Israelites are the most hated people on the earth. Like I said before, that a Hebrew Israelite is the most hated person on the earth, man. And there's going to come a time where Esau is going to really just say, forget all this talking. I'm going to do what I know best. I'm going to do what I know best, man. And in fact, there's a scripture on that right now. In fact, Wisdom of Solomon chapter 2 and verse 10, let us oppress the poor righteous man. Let us not spare the widow, nor reverence the ancient grey hairs of the aged. Let our strength be the law of justice, for that which is feeble is found to be nothing worth. Now, what's a modern day way of saying that? If it bleeds, I can kill it. If I can overcome you with the sword, I don't care. Okay, you're saying I'm guilty. Okay, I put you. This is how Esau thinks. Let me break it down, man. Let me try and tap into the mind of these wicked scumbags, man. This is how these people think, man. Okay, yeah, I did put you in slavery. Yeah, I did steal your nationality. Yeah, I did claim your nationality for my own. Yeah, I did do that. Yeah, I am trying to poison you with food. Yeah, I am trying to do all of these things. Yeah, I am poisoning the air. Yes, I'm doing all these things that you're saying I'm doing. I am. Yes. That's how they think. Yes, we are doing all of those things. But what are you going to do about it? That's how they think. I've got weapons. I've got tanks. What are you going to do about it? That's what they think. Okay, you're saying I'm all of these things, so I may as well beat them. Even though they really already are those things. They're thinking, well, since you're saying I'm those things, I'm going to be those things. But no, devil, you already was those things. And now you're just proving that you are those things when you come and do what you're going to do, man. We already know that you hate us. The Israelite man is the most hated person on the earth. We're hated by every other nation, right? And yet at the same time, every other nation tries to copy how we do things, right? And then we're hated by our own women for the most part. Then we're hated by our own families for the most part because we are trying to escape out of this cage that we're in through our mind first. And then it's going to be manifested physically when Yahawashi returns, man. We're hated by every other nation, and then we're hated by all the wicked people from our own nation. So the Israelite man has got the most enemies on the earth, man. And Yahawashi is an Israelite man, and he's got the most enemies out of every Israelite that's ever existed, man. And that's why when all these people are having wars amongst themselves in the world, once they see Yahawashi, they're going to say, man, forget, we'll deal with our thing later. Let's get him. That's how they're going to think, man. We need to all team up together to get him. And even, what was it, Ronald Reagan said that if there was a invasion of some sort, wouldn't we all team together and group all our power together to come up against that? And that's what they're going to try and do. And they're going to get smoked when they try and do it anyway. But it's prophecy, man. It's so that Yahawashi and the angels can have some fun, man. Because Yahawashi has been waiting to get you people, man. That's why the scripture says he's going to like rage like a travailing woman when he comes, man. This is Wisdom of Solomon chapter 2 and verse 12. Therefore let us lie in wait for the righteous, because he is not for our turn. He is clean contrary to our doings. He upbraideth us with our offending the law, and objective to our infamy, the transgressions of our education. So they hate the Israelite, man. They hate that he is about the laws. They hate that he's about righteousness. They can't stand it. They can't stand that he's clean contrary to their doings. They don't like that he doesn't want to eat pork. They don't like that he has a beard on his face. So they'll see anybody else with a beard on their face and they won't have a problem with it. But when they say an Israelite man with a beard on his face, oh, you need a shave. No, I don't need a shave. You need to shut the fuck up. That's what's needed around here. But they want to try and make us be some little wimps, right? So that they can feel comfortable with themselves, man. That's why if you're a person that goes gym or nothing like that, right? As soon as if you're an Israelite man, and I'm not even a person that goes to the gym like that no more, man. But if you go to the gym, right, the first thing it's almost like you're gonna be able to hear a pin drop, man, because people are gonna be wanting to know what you can lift, or what does he lift, and they're gonna not feel strong as long as they can't lift what you lift, man. Because they know that when it comes to physical things, we're the strongest people on the earth, man. And when it comes to anything else, they don't care if anybody else really is better than them. They just don't want you to be better than them, no matter what it is. It could be cooking. They don't want you to be better at cooking than them. They don't want you to be better at anything than them, man. Because they know deep down their spirit's telling them that you're the chosen. So if they feel like they can do something better than the chosen, they can feel like they're the chosen, man. And that's why all these nations loved it when we was in slavery. And they love it when they see us in a bad situation, man. They love it, man. They can't get enough of that. Verse 13, he professeth to have the knowledge of God and calleth himself the child of the Lord. He was made to reprove our faults. So that's why they hate us, because they know that we was made to judge this earth, man. They understand these things. They understand that we're made to be a judge unto the earth, because the main people that have ever got a grievance with how the world's going, the main people that are always fair are Israelites, man. The main people that speak about things in a righteous way and don't back down and don't hold their tongue or don't sugarcoat their speech is an Israelite man. We just say it as it is, man. We don't need to speak in that Ian McStrovers, that MP Tony Blairish type of, politician way. We don't need to speak like that, man. We just say it straight down the middle, man. Straight down the middle, straight up. We just talk normal, man. If somebody asks us a question, we'll just say it straight as it is, and then people get bothered by that, man, because they really wish that they could talk like that. Esau really wishes that he could speak out and just be exactly what he is, but he can't though, because he's the devil. So if he speaks out straight out like what he's about, then people are gonna start looking at him like, yeah, you know what, this guy is the devil, and then people are gonna start getting more spiritual and praying to the Lord, and Yahawashi is gonna return. Yeah, he's gonna return anyway, but it's just in the Yahweh's time. Verse 15, he is grievous unto us even to behold, for his life is not like other men's, his ways are of another fashion. So when you walk into a building and Esau's there, he don't even like the fact that you even exist, man. You could go to a pub or whatever, to a bar, or you could go to a clothing store, or you could go to a restaurant, or you could go to a supermarket, right? And them seeing you there, it's just gonna bother them, man. Especially if you're carrying yourself in an honorable way, it's gonna bother them. And they might walk all close by you. They might walk in the store and you're both going opposite, come walking towards each other, and they know they don't want nothing from the aisle, from that side of the aisle, but they just want to make you move out of the way. So they pretend like they're looking at something on the aisle now. So they stop in front of you and pretend like they're looking at something on the aisle, wait for you to go around them, and then they carry on walking again because they just want to bother you in some kind of way, man, because they're weirdos, man. Or whenever you're walking with your shopping in the trolley, yeah, they have an eagerness to try and look in your trolley to see what it is that you're eating. Oh, he eats that, does he? Okay, we're gonna try and get something sorted about that. We might try and poison that particular food product then. And you might think, nah, they wouldn't go that far. We ain't that special. No, we are that special, man. We are that special. That's why they always want to know all this information about us, man. That's why you've got this demon out there. This demon Malone geezer out there, right? That he knows so much about the history of Hebrew Israelites. So much does this guy know. And I'm like, man, this guy's obsessed, bro. This guy's obsessed with Israelites, man. Obsessed. And he's an Edomite, man. This guy's obsessed with Israelites. Like, he's spending so much time talking about how the Israelite doctrine's wrong that he's forgetting to say what the biblical doctrine is. He's spending so much time saying what the Israelites are saying out of the Bible ain't true, that he's not saying what is the truth from there. He's just saying, well, what they're saying is not true. You know, what they're saying is not true. But then he's not saying what is true, though, because he just hates our guts, man. He just hates us. Well, will he admit that? No. He's going to try and say, I'm doing it because I care about the gospel and all this. No, you hate us, man. We know that you do. You hate us. Verse 16, we are esteemed of him as counterfeits. He abstaineth from our ways as from filthiness. He pronounceth the end of the just to be blessed, and make of his boast that God is his father. Right? So they bothered that we look at them like, man, you ain't real about the Bible. And we'll tell them to their face, you don't really believe in the Lord, man. You're fake, man. You ain't real about the Bible. You ain't real about this. You're saying all these things out the Bible, but how comes when it comes out things that's in the Bible, you don't want to do them? We call them out on that, man. They get called out by Israelites on these things. They get told, nah, you ain't telling me what's in the Bible. I know what's in the Bible. You ain't telling me. And then we'll prove it to them. They'll get it proved to them right in front of their face, and then they'll look stupid, man. They'll think that because we ain't carrying that suit and tie spirit that they have, that we couldn't possibly know anything. Because if we didn't learn it from them, there's no possible way that we could know what's in the Bible. So let me give an example. We might say something like, an Israelite might say something like the 144,000 are Israelites, and they'll say, no, that's spiritual Israel, actually. That's spiritual Israel, right? And you'll go prove it then. And then they'll start being proud and that they'll go to the scriptures. They might lick their thumb and flick the page, right? Or they might pull out their phone proud as hell. Then when they get to the Bible app, they'll actually forget where the 144,000 is mentioned. And you might have to tell them, it's in Revelation 7. They go, yep, that's it. I was already there anyway. Revelation 7, yep. Or they'll have to search it in the search box, 144,000. And then when they get there, right, they'll start reading it, not out aloud. They'll start reading it quietly, right? And then when they get to the words, they'll say, yep, see, it's spiritual Israel. But then it says children in there. It says children of Israel. And then they'll try and change it up and be, no, I didn't mean them actually. I meant it was the great multitude. But then the great multitude, the Israelites too. Oh, can you prove that then? Can you prove that, mate? Yeah, I can. Strong's G 5443, the words philo. Yeah, we can prove it, man. Yeah, we can prove it. And then after that, I think we should just agree to disagree, because then they're counterfeits, man. They ain't real about the Bible, man. Then you might ask them if they do tithes in their church, and they'll say, nah. Then you'll say, do you do donations? And they'll say, yeah. So they're trying to play a semantics game, man. They're trying to think they're slick when they're not slick, man. We're the real supplanters, man. We're Jacob, man. We're the ones that are really slick. They ain't slick like that, man. We're slick, man. We're smooth with it. We're nice with it. They ain't slick like that, man. We can see through everything that they're doing. We already know. We've already been given what they're going to do. They're going to try and give everyone the charagma. So anything else that they're talking about, anything else that they say, it don't mean nothing, because we already know where it's going. So if somebody was trying to run away from you, right? Let's say somebody tried to run away from you and tried to hide away from you after you was chasing them, but you know exactly where their end point is. You don't need to chase them. Just wait for them where you know they're going to go. Which be like, okay, I know exactly where he's going. I don't need to run around sweating, getting myself all hot and bothered. I'm chasing after them, getting myself all tired and fatigued. I'm just going to wait where I know he's going. I'm just going to wait there. There ain't no need for me to run around doing all this, chasing in parkour, jumping over buildings, doing backflips. I know where he's going, man. He's going to the charagma. So I'm just going to prepare myself to not do that. All this other stuff, forget all that. Because we see through these people now, man. Thanks to Yahawashi. We see through them, man. Until I came into the congregation of the Lord, then I understood I their end, man. This is Psalm 73 and verse 17. Until I went into the sanctuary of God, then understood I their end. Surely thou didst set them in slippery places, that castest them down into destruction. So that's, let me jump to verse 22. So foolish was I and ignorant. I was a beast before thee, because before we knew these things, we was beasts, man. We thought that these Edomites was actually had the methods of life figured out. We thought that they actually understood the breakdown of life, man. But the scriptures say, don't ever praise a man before you see his end. But we used to think, some of us used to think, they've got it going, man. That they understand it. It's the way how they do business with each other and all that. Some of us used to think that, man. But really, the way how they do everything is wicked and evil, man. And that's why the end of them is going to be destruction, because the Israelite man's destiny is to be immortal, man. Which is something that they forgot. Verse 16. We are esteemed of him as counterfeits. He abstaineth from our ways as from filthiness. He pronounceth the end of the just to be blessed, and make of his boast that God is his father. Let us see if his words be true. Let us prove what shall happen in the end of him. And they did that already with Yahawashi, right? They did it already with Yahawashi, but they're getting ready, and they was proven to be wrong when they did it with Yahawashi. When they crucified Yahawashi, they found out at the end of his death, after he said, "Father, receive my soul, it's finished," roughly paraphrasing it, right? After he said that, they realized, damn, he was the son of Yahweh. They realized it. They realized, yeah, he was the king of the Jews. They realized it, man. Verse 17, let us see if his words be true. Let us prove what shall happen in the end of him. For if the just man be the son of God, he will help him and deliver him from the hand of his enemies. Now, he didn't do that. Yahweh didn't do that to Yahawashi, because Yahawashi was supposed to die. But they still found out at the end of his death that he was Yahawashi. But when they come and try and do it to the Israelites of the elect, Yahweh is going to send Yahawashi to perform his justice for what happened to him, and to seek justice for his brothers and his sisters too, for his nation. And even in that day, the 2/3 Israelites going to be scared, man. All these house of consciousness type people, all of them are going to be terrified, man. All of them that was scoffing, thinking it was a game. Everyone's going to realize what life was really about in that day, man. They're going to really see that our reality of being in our house, having a TV that faces the sofa, right? You have a dinner table or whatever. You have a fridge. You put your food in the fridge. You go shopping from Asda or Morrison's, Tesco, M&S food store, right? You buy your clothes and put them in the wardrobe. You flip in every single food that item that you have in the store is in a packet, right? All of that lifestyle, we're going to realize really that was the most stupid way of living that's ever existed on the earth, man. Even though it was the most glorified in people's eyes, we're going to realize that actually grapes don't grow in a packet, mate. They're not supposed, that's not the best way to get your grapes. It's better to get it straight off the vine. Yeah, it's better to get it straight from the natural source. Actually, your meat's not supposed to be in the packet, in the store, just sitting in there overnight before you come in there and eat it after you take it home. It's not supposed to be like that. It's supposed to be an animal walking around and running around eating grass in the field, and then get killed when you want to prepare it to eat it for that day. It's supposed to be freshly killed. Excuse me. Verse 18, for if the just man be the son of God, he will help him and deliver him from the hand of his enemies. Let us examine him with despitefulness and torture, that we may know his meekness and prove his patience. Did they not do that to Yahawashi? Yes, they did. But here's the thing, man. Yahawashi is still alive, though. And they're gonna give certain people of the elect a shameful death too, or what they think is a shameful death in their eyes, be getting beheaded. They're gonna think that's a shameful death, but really it's an honorable one, man. And these are parts of the Bible that Christians don't want to talk about, man. Christians have the same book that we have. So why is it that we've got so much things that we can bring out of it that cause fear in the hearts of men? But they use that book and they're just talking about loving up everything all the time. Why is it that we don't find that burning in hell forever stuff that they're talking about, but we find other judgments? Who's the one lying with this book? Is it them or is it us? Because you can clearly go to the things that we're saying that's in there and read it for yourself. But some of the things that they say, or a lot of the things that they say, are not in there. God loving everybody is not in the Bible. Romans 9:13 proves that. The story of Noah's Ark proves that. The story of Sodom and Gomorrah proves that. The story of Exodus proves that. The story of the Israelites getting the land of Canaan proves that. The book of Judges proves that. There's many stories that prove that, man. The stories of King David killing the Edomites and Yahweh being down for that. That proves that. So where all this loving everybody stuff comes from, I don't know. But it's not the biblical story. When you read the book of Genesis, you find out how Yahweh made the nation of Israel. You find out the process of how they became the chosen nation through Yahweh selecting different men that lived on the earth to be the people that he was going to make the line of the godly lineage come through. He chose a man that became the beginning of the godly lineage that he wished to create, which was Abram, whose name was later changed to Abraham, who had 8 sons. But before he ever had a son, he said that from your seed, right, your seed is going to dwell in a land for 400 years and be stricken. Now, was that seed Ishmael? No. Was that seed Jokshan, Midian, Ishbak? No. It wasn't none of Abraham's other 6 sons. It was the seed that came through Isaac. And it wasn't Esau. It was the seed that came through Jacob, which was the Israelites. Jacob's name was changed to Israel. That was him. That was that seed. So it was already prophesied. We already find out who the seed line of Abraham was, long before the Israelites ever even existed, because you see the things that they went through, man. So for all this talk of people that are Ishmaelites trying to say that that Ishmael is the chosen seed of God and all that, no, that's not true, man. They're not. Because if they was, they would have been the people that went into Egypt for 400 years of slavery and then was taken out. But that's not what happened, is it? They would have been the people that was given the laws of Yahweh and was given the curses and the blessings. But they're not. Instead, they're actually an enemy of the Israelites, which goes back to what I was saying about how the Israelite man and the Israelites in general, and Yahawashi in particular, are the most hated people on the earth, man. With Yahawashi being the most hated on the earth. And that's why when he comes back, he's going to be coming back for vengeance on his enemies, man. Because he has many of those. And there's particular enemies that get mentioned by name. Those that pierced him, for example, from Revelation 1:7. Let me carry on this, Salakia. Wisdom of Solomon chapter 2 and verse 19. Let us examine him with his spitefulness and torture, that we may know his meekness and prove his patience. Let us condemn him with a shameful death, for by his own saying he shall be respected. Such things did they imagine and were deceived, for their own wickedness have blinded them. So these people were wicked when they was thinking all of these things against us, man. They've been being wicked when they've been thinking all this stuff to do to us, right? Their own evil hearts have deceived them into trying to come up against men that really ain't did nothing but want to read from the Bible and find out who they are. They've only wanted to find out their nationality, but they've been called racist for speaking about what their nationality is. They've been told, shut up and don't try and search out what your nationality is. Don't just believe us for what we said your nationality is, man. Just believe what we've said your nationality is. That's what they want us to do. Don't search out for yourself and try and look at these curses and all that. That's not relevant. Just believe what we've said you are. That's what they've tried to have the nerve to tell us to do, man. Verse 21, such things did they imagine and were deceived, for their own wickedness have blinded them. As for the mysteries of God, they knew them not, neither hoped they for the wages of righteousness, right? Nor discerned a reward for blameless souls. So they didn't understand that there was actually a reward for doing the right thing, because they've always lived their life by the sword, which was their blessing. That was the way they were supposed to live, man. But when they ever used to look at our way of living, they thought it was a joke. They'd be like, why you ain't trying to make it in life? Why aren't you out trying to do all the things that we're doing? Verse 23, for God created man to be immortal and made him to be an image of his own eternity. And in particular, that's talking about the Israelite man. because the Israelite men were the nation that was given the laws of immortality. Because if you keep those laws, it leads to everlasting life, which is why Yahawashi in Matthew 19th chapter told that man, if you want to have eternal life, keep the commandments. Verse 14, nevertheless, through envy of the devil came death into the world, and they that do hold of his side do find it. So when you try and copy what Esau does, that's when you're going to find death, man. Right? That's when you're going to find your end, man. I'm going to end the lesson there. The Israelite man is the most hated on the earth, man. And in particular, Yahawashi is the most hated, man. Yahawashi is the most hated person to ever walk the earth, man. And just like how the world hates Yahawashi, they're going to hate everybody that believes in him also. All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahawashi, Ba'ashem Rakah double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and shalom to the nation of Israel. Shalom.